Shane Torres got the night underway for PXC 25 at the Marriott Hotel. Both fighters came out brawling, letting their hands go at the start of the bell. Padrones landed some good shots, backing Torres up against the cage. Shane Torres would later catch Padrones with the standing guillotine choke and secure it tighter when both fighters went to the ground, earning the win by submission. Ricky Camp used his boxing experience to keep the distance and pick his shots against John Paul Mendiola. Camp kept Mendiola guessing and waited for his opportunity to find an opening and take advantage of his stand-up. Ricky Camp caught Mendiola and went to work as Mendiola covered up, taking the fight to the ground, where he eventually forced John Paul to tap after he couldn't defend himself, picking up the first round win. Mike Vidori and Van Hattori met up in the third fight of the night. The two fighters exchanged from up top, landing some leg kicks. Hattori with a flurry of punches before the fight went to the ground. Mike Vidori played it smart, racking up points on takedowns. With the fight coming to an end, Vidori almost pulls off the choke from up top, but did just enough for the split decision win. Josh Munya used his strength to take the fight to John Jesus at 165 pounds. Munya worked the clinch game and tripped Jesus, putting him on his back. Munya landed a knee when both fighters stood back up. Josh Munya kept the pressure on John Jesus and worked the ground and pound, forcing the referee to call the fight after Jesus did not respond. Vince Guyon forced John Borja to verbally submit in the first round. The heavyweights didn't waste any time once the bell rang, getting in there and throwing. When the fight went to the ground, Guyon looked comfortable and reversed the action, landing some shots and getting the win by verbal submission. Eric Regis and Ellery Fonseca came out of their corners looking to knock each other's head off. The lightweights were aiming for the fences, looking for a knockout. Fonseca had Regis in a headlock and couldn't do anything with his position. Eric Regis played it cool and took his back and sucked in the rear naked choke for the win. Scotty Eclavea stays undefeated, picking up a good win against Trevor Cruz. Eclavea kept the fight close, shooting in and tried to take the fight to the ground. He was successful in his second attempt and transitioned from a guillotine choke to an armbar for the first round win. Elliot Untalan made quick work of Aaron McClellan. It took Untalan less than a minute to find his opening and take advantage of a solid right hand that buckled McClellan, dropping him to the canvas. The ref jumped in and called the fight, awarding Untalan his second win in PXC. Dylan Pablo used his wrestling background to pull off the decision win against a very tough Brad Sablon. Pablo was able to take Sablon down at will and keep his position, trying to get in some submission attempts. Dylan Pablo mixed it up but stayed with his wrestling game to improve to 2-0. In the last fight of the night, Jensen Nicholas and McLean Alfred got fans off their seats in one of the featured fights of the night. Both fighters went to town on one another, landing power shots and still kept pressing forward. McLean Alfred landing more of the shots, but St. Nicholas shook it off and landed some of his own in return. There was no quitting from either fighter as the first and second round ended with fans going crazy. McLean Alfred would catch Jensen Nicholas and cut him over the eye. The doc would later take a look and call the fight, giving the win to McLean Alfred in the third round.